Welcome to the spine-chilling stories, where you hear true horror stories around the world that are both creepy and chilling. So let's dive in. The Wendigo sightings of Minnesota. The wind howled through the dense pine forest, with the four campers, Mike, Jason, Sarah, and Emily, huddled around their crackling fire. It was late autumn night, near Minnesota, Canadian border, where the forest stretched for miles with no signs of civilization, really in the middle of nowhere. The temperature had dropped drastically, and heavy silence hung in the air, broken only by the occasional rustling of leaves. Jason, the most experienced outdoors man of the group, added more wood to the fire. "Strange place, right?" he muttered. "Feels different here," says Jason. Sarah chuckled. "Trying to scare us? Please don't." Mike laughed at them but said nothing. Emily, the quietest of the group, kept glancing into the shadows, feeling uneasy. She felt something off. The fire had burned low when it happened. A scream, inhuman, shrill, guttural, ripped through the silence. Everyone froze. It was unlike any animal they had ever heard. Long, pained, almost hungry. It came from the trees beyond their campsite. Jason grabbed a flashlight. "Maybe a fox or a cougar," he whispered. But his voice lacked convenientness. Inside he was shaking, a bit skeptical that if even it was an animal, it never sounds like an animal. As he moved through the forest, Mike, ever the skeptic, stood up. "I'll check it out," despite Emily's whispered protest and says, "Don't go there." Mike moved on. As he moved towards the trees, the woods fell deathly silent. Not a single cricket chirped. It was as if the whole forest died on the spot. Even the wind seemed to stop. Mike's breath came out short puffs as he stepped deeper into the forest. The stench of decay hit him full force, sour, rotten, like something has been long dead, something that was evil. Then he saw it. A tall, emaciated figure stood just beyond the flashlight's reach. Its skin stretched tight over its bones, patches of rotting flesh hanging from its limbs. Its eyes glowed, reflecting the light like a predator's. In the dark, the mouth was twisted into something that resembled a grin, but too wide, too unnatural. Long, blackened claws twisted at its sides. Mike's body locked up in terror. The creature tilted its head as if studying him. Then, in a motion too fast for any animal for its possible, something so gaunt. It lunged forward. Mike stumbled backward, turned and ran, bursting back into the campsite. Mike's face was pale and ashen. "Run! Run! Let's get out of here!" he gasped, screaming to everyone else. Behind him, the trees shook violently. The others barely had the time to react before they heard it. A deep, ragged breathing coming from all around them. Sarah screamed as a shadow moved between the trees. Jason grabbed Emily's wrist, dragging her toward the car. They sprinted through the underbush, branches tearing at their clothes. Behind them, the footsteps followed, inhumanly fast and impossibly heavy. Mike risked a glance back, and he saw it. The thing was chasing them. It moves on all fours, inhumanly, unanimally. It was unnatural. It wasn't animal at all. Its limbs bending in unnatural angles. Its sunken eyes gleamed in dark, locked onto them like a predator. Just as they reached their vehicle, the footsteps stopped. The woods went silent, panting. Jason fumbled with keys. They piled into the car, locking the doors. Mike stared back into the forest. The creature was gone. Whatever that was, that monster, that unnatural being, it was gone. But the feeling of being watched remained. The next morning, they drove to the nearby town, seeking for answers. An old man at the roadside diner listened as they told their story. He nodded grimly, as if he knew something that they didn't. "You were in the Wendigo's territory. It watches, hunts, and if you're lucky, it lets you leave." Emily shivered. And if you're not?" The man didn't answer. He just looked at them with something that resembles pity. None of them ever camped in those woods again. But some nights, when the wind howled just right, Mike swore he could easily hear it, the scream in the woods, and he always remembered the old man's words. "If you're lucky, it will leave you." Would you dare to visit this haunted forest? Or would you dare to see the Wendigo? For more stories like this, please keep watching the spine-chilling stories, where you keep listening to the horrors of night.